morning, Ryan. How are you?
Good, Peter. How's you?
Yes, all good, thanks. All good. Thanks very much for taking the time to chat with me this morning, Ryan. Welcome to the NI Business Podcast. If we could start, could you tell me a little about yourself, your background, and your business, please?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to be asked for to go into things like this. A bit of background about myself and the business. I'm the company director of BNL Productions, and we've been going now for 20 years. BNL Productions focuses on three kind of key areas. It's film production, live production, and event management, and then anything within those kind of areas. Now, those are quite kind of serious roles. And it's quite a corporate way of saying it. But one of the things that we always try and do, what we've done from the start of the business, and our tagline was at the start of the business was development a creative community. So we first started off doing kind of Piece 3 projects when we set up the business. So we were going into communities and teaching them how to make films and how to, develop stories and tell those stories, as part of a Piece 3 project. Uh, and then we kind of developed from that and started making, uh, you know, doing films for just corporate stuff. The business then developed and we were doing audio video stuff. We were running events and then it just kind of grew from there. So it just kind of started off with the partners, and now that we have grew, we have now have 10 employees, and we're working with up to 20 freelancers that we would fully trust and send out in jobs.
Very good. And where is the bulk of the business at the minute between the three streams?
You mean geographically?
Well, no, just in general, where do you spend the bulk of your time, or is it split evenly across the three revenue streams you described?
The thing is, they all kind of merge into each other sometimes. Sometimes you're just doing a film project. Sometimes you're doing an audio video project, and then you need to bring in film and content to actually complement that. And then see if you're doing an event, it almost kind of incorporates all three. You'd maybe need to set up the event, do all the risk assessments, the site management, set up an AV section where you're maybe doing a stage and stuff, and then you're maybe doing a highlight film in between all of that. So you have a camera person running around highlighting the whole event and doing it that way. In terms of where the kind of revenues come, so it's kind of funny. You can almost the way it kind of worked for us, Christmas times event management, because there's a lot of Christmas
Hmm.
stuff going on, and the AV kind of runs throughout the entire year, and it's just constant. And then the film production, it just starts in January. It goes to May. It pauses for a while over the summer, and then it'll just kind of start kicking back in around Christmas time. So it kind of works really well for us. In terms of revenue streams, I would say they're all kind of they fluctuate on a yearly basis.
Hmm.
Sometimes one will bring in more, and sometimes one will bring in less. Like I'll give you an example of COVID, because a lot of the things that happened, a lot of the live events and stuff were, you know, you couldn't do them. While a lot of people were moving on to online streaming and film stuff, maybe doing like a film event for, kids in the community so they could watch it, log on and have maybe Santa talking to them and stuff, because we work with Santa quite a lot.
Okay.
So, it fluctuates depending on what's happening.
And how long has the business been going for?
Yeah, so the business has been going for 20 years. Uh, I mean, before the business, I was always kind of doing stuff, being involved in all of these types of things. It just came to a point where we're going, right, we'll set this up here, we'll see how it goes, and then it just kind of developed from there.
And is this what you always wanted to do? Was your what was your how did the lead up to launching the business go?
It's not something that kind of went, right, this is what I always wanted to do. What I always wanted to do was I always wanted to make videos, you know. I always wanted to, produce content, make nice videos that people would like, they'd watch and, enjoy and, have some sort of benefit for them. So for instance, whether it's either to sell something, whether it's just to, highlight that this is what this person does, or whether it's to go in a community and just, tell a story as to what's happening. So that's what I've always wanted to do. But then all of the other, and I still do that because that would be the core of my skills,
Mm.
Uh, no, the other stuff just kind of developed from that, because you kind of needed it to complement it all. Do you know what I mean? And once we had all that other stuff in place, it just worked really well.
And what about your target market? Who do you enjoy working with, and who benefits most from working with BNL Productions?
I mean, generally, our target market is really wide. We will work with pretty much anyone who has an idea or wants to do something. I mean, to give you an idea of some of the people we are working with, I mean, we're working with PR companies. Sometimes we're making TV adverts, sometimes we're doing a bit of event management for them. Uh, we're sometimes working with charities to promote some of the things that they're doing. Uh, we do a lot of work with statutory organizations, government and local government to they would be a lot of corporate stuff because they, just telling stories or running an event. Podcasters, we also do work with podcasters. That's one of the kind of newer kind of areas that we would work with. I really like doing that because of the social media aspect of it, as well as just the podcast, and yeah, voluntary organizations as well. So there's a variations of people that we would work with.
And I'm guessing over the well, congratulations by the way, for your 20 years is a great milestone in business. But I'd like you to reflect on your time in the business. What would you say has been your biggest lesson as a business owner?
I mean, you probably hear this a lot. It's learning every day. It's trying to figure out things and trying to get things done, and having to go, right, I'm going to figure this out, going to do this so I can do this. But I mean, probably the biggest thing I've learned is one person can't do everything. I
Mm.
mean, see when we first started the business, I was up at 6 in the morning working to 4 a.m. learning how to do things just so I could do one other thing. And really
Mm.
what I should have been doing was, I'm going to find this guy, I'm going to get him to do that bit, and I'm going to learn to work really well with him. Like I remember learning, we were doing a radio project, and one of the things that we had to do was we were also building the website. And I was like, right, I'm gonna take this on. I can totally do this. And I built this whole back end where you would log on. Now this is maybe 15 years ago. You would log
Mm.
on to people listening could log on to the website. They could type in a thing and it would come up in the studio, and it would just be a form where it would say it's like a song request and a message. I mean, I spent days and days and days just building this thing and trying to learn it. And I really should just got someone else to do it. But on the flip side of that, because I had to learn all of that stuff, it makes it very easy for me to understand if I wanted to get someone else to do that, you know.
Mm.
And now that's kind of out of date because there's companies that you can just log on and build a website now anyway, but I still have a good understanding of how it works. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of glad I did it, but I'm glad I would say just you can't do everything.
Yeah, it's common, certainly at the start of businesses where you do have to do everything. Yeah, but such a great share for anyone, that as a business scales, that you can't do everything. But there's
Oh
people out
no.
there that are good at doing stuff for you as well.
That's it. That's it. Like,
And what have you learned about yourself along the way?
I mean, I would say I've learnt how adaptable, I mean, not just me, but I mean the whole organization can be. And having to switch like 20 years is a lot of things happening in technology. So we've had to adapt to constant changes. So let me give you an example. We would have used to have had to make a 10-minute DVD, and you know we had to learn how to do so much to be able to do that, from cameras to edit to burning DVDs to getting DVDs duplicated, the graphics for the DVD, the duplication and stuff. And now what we're doing is producing 30-second videos sometimes that are going out on social media, and it was sending that to clients. So it's how to adapt from learning that there to going into new technology and new waves. And there's been so many things, from the technology, not like there's also been social media, and having to adapt to those types of things, especially with, and like the AI is coming, AI is already here. It's the adaptability of how that's going to work for us and how we're going to use that.
Mhm. And who's influenced you the most along your journey?
I I I find for me, maybe not the business, but personally, I mean, see when you are kind of younger, you don't really, you either have an idea of what you want to do or you kind of don't know what you want to do. And I kind of was coming out of university going, I kind of want to do this. I just don't know how it's going to work. Okay. So I'm kind of, trying to figure things out. So I remember reading, like, I used to be a skateboarder. So I was going out and I was just flat out, and that's all I could focus on. It's just skateboard, skateboard, skateboard. So, I mean, I would have been obsessed, and I would have followed Tony Hawk quite a lot and stuff. So I read his book one day, and I remember him saying that he wanted to be a video editor, and he had such a good big influence because that's all I wanted to do was skate. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to do that. And he said it didn't work out for him. He loved doing it, but he just couldn't. He just wanted to skate. So, but anyway, so I was like, right, I'm gonna learn how to video edit really, really well. So I mean, I can remember that, maybe not maybe the person, but maybe it was a key point in my life. I was like, right, this is where I'm going to go. And then another key point, and I'm just thinking about where in terms of development and how I've developed. It was Belfast ran this event called the Power Video, and they had brought in all these unbelievable video people in the world, and I'm like, I really miss it. It was a class event. So I mean, you had Peter McKinnon, Casey Neistat, Philip Bloom, Devon Supertramp, all these kind of vloggers. And whenever they came in as like, and this is when the business was already set up and stuff. I mean, I was like, I'm gonna really learn how to use cameras. I'm gonna really focus on it. I'm gonna do it. So I followed all their stuff, and I, you know, watched everything they were doing. Anytime a new camera came out, it's like, learn all this here. How's this gonna work? Da, da, da. So I mean, those are the kinds. It's not one person, but it's kind of the types of people that influenced me, to actually get me to do what I was going to do. Now, I kind of don't follow any of those people anymore. But I mean, if I saw them on a podcast or something, I'll be like, you know what, I'll make a note and I'll go listen to it. Like, but those are the types of things that would have influenced me.
That's a great story. I love it. That's a great Tony Hawk story. I saw him recently, whenever you mentioned, and then yeah, I think he must have been on one of the Formula One grids. I must have been watching one of the Grand Prix, and he was walking up and down the grid. I think Martin Brundle spoke to him, and he had a skateboard in his hand.
It gets about like, there's one I remember seeing on social media one time. He just rocked up in Bridges Skate Park in Belfast, didn't tell anybody, just went for a wee skate. Somebody got a photo of him, and then that was it. He was on Belfast Live and everything, like.
Fantastic. What about even like 20 years down the line? What is it that gets you out of bed and drives your passion for your business today?
I mean, honestly, sometimes I'm not motivated. Sometimes it's hard, you know, like you get stuck doing things all the time, and it's like you maybe you get stuck on a list, and you're kind of going, right, okay, blah 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 blah, and you do get stuck sometimes. But one of the things that will eventually, on those things I get stuck on, I figure out how to move them onto other people. So I'm like, right, I need to stop doing this. Someone else can do this.
Mhm.
Uh, but one of the things that really motivates me is learning stuff that's new, and actually putting myself in an uncomfortable situation that I kind of want to do, but I don't really want to do. But if I do it, I'll feel 100 times better for it. So I try and put myself in those uncomfortable situations where it's like maybe lack a bit of confidence, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to say yes and see what happens. so well. And if I mess it up, oh well. So I try and put myself in those situations to kind of get motivated and see once I get flowing on that situation, everything else is just like I have to do this super fast. I have to get this organized. I have to do this. And I mean, I like to put myself in that situation at least once a month. Do you know what
Very
I mean?
good. It's almost like getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's so easy to do, especially whenever you're doing so much and there's so much going on. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just work, it's family life too, and trying to organize and trying to do those things, you know.
And like, speaking of learning new things, I don't know if you're a reader or are there any podcasts you ever listen to, and anything you'd care to share?
I don't read books. I really don't. I think I can maybe like that Tony Hawk book was one of about five that I've read. I'm just not. I just can't do it. I do listen to podcasts because they you can run them in the background while you're doing things.
Hmm.
And so if you're out cutting the grass or doing the gardening or you're going for a run, you can just totally knock them out. I mean, there's two kind of I'll listen to if I find something that I think's good or I see it advertised, I'll go, you know what, I'm going to listen to that podcast. But the majority of the time, I'll be listening to The Secret Diary of a CEO.
Okay.
Because we produce podcasts as well, the content is great, and even his behind the scenes stuff is brilliant. So, and he got Tony Hawk on as well, which I was like, need to watch that one. It's going to be good. I mean, and then the other podcast I listen to is the Dig podcast. Now we help produce that a lot, but there's sometimes I can't film them, so I can't hear them, and sometimes I'll just go, you know what? I actually really want to listen to that one, and I'll put it on, and I'll put it on the background and just listen to it.
And what would you say is the biggest challenge that you're currently facing in business?
It's growth is slow. It's having the patience to actually go, do you know what? And looking back and going, we are growing. Uh, we and just have the patience to do that. And the other thing as well is if you're growing too fast, you know, it's trying to keep up with it all because you could end up spending too much money, messing up your cash flow, or you could bring in the wrong people and not realize, and they're sitting there doing the wrong work for 6 months because
Hmm.
you're trying to focus on bringing more people in. Uh, I mean, I really, I really struggle to find people to work with sometimes, uh, and everyone that we work with is brilliant. So, like, even when we're recruiting and bringing people in, it can be real. Like, let me give you an example. I mean, if we were bringing in a video editor, for instance, I'm like, this is a 6 months job. I need to be sitting with them at least, 8 hours a week, going, this is how that's work, training them, then constantly developing their skills and going, you need to do it this way, showing them how everything is structured in the business. And it's the same like that with all areas of the business. So every time we bring someone in, I'm like, I kind of don't want to do this, but I know when I do it, it's going to be better in the long run. So growth is slow.
And what about let's go slightly off piste, and if you could invite any three people to a dinner party, who are you going to invite?
Yeah, I mean, like I I have three mates, okay, since I was 16, and I try and spend as much time with them as I can, but the business is busy. And then, I mean, I have four kids as well,
Mhm.
so see trying to find, and I need to give them, all attention too. So when I get the opportunity to actually go out with these three people, I mean, I take it. So if this is an opportunity to go out with these, those are the people I'm going to dinner with, like.
Very good. And what about if you could go back in time, Ryan, and give some advice to your 18-year-old self, what would that sound like?
Probably be like, you know, there's really there's really hard times in, and not just in your personal life, but in your, business life. I mean, not just in business, in your personal life. Uh, you really just have to. I really just be saying to yourself, you just need to get past it. and just keep going, because it's eventually that hard time is going to be over and you're going to be moving into a good time. And you just keep going is probably the best thing. Keep going when it's hard.
Mm. And what about, I mean, technology affects every industry, but I would imagine from my sort of outsider's perspective, your line of business, even more so than some. So if you look forward 5 years down the line, what does BNL Productions look like on its 25th birthday?
Well, I mean, the technology is constantly developing. The business has developed so much on its own. Like, our business is very organic. It just kind of grows. Sometimes I feel like the business is telling me what to do. You know, it's and it's guiding us on how to do things, which it kind of is, uh, because of that. I mean, 5 years down the line, I'd like to be growing all areas of the business and bringing more people on. I'd like to kind of, it's just finding, bring more people in so that you can work with. It's really just growth. Now, the other aspect, and I'm kind of nervous and I'm kind of excited, is where AI is going to take us,
Mm.
because there's a lot going on. And I mean, even us, we're starting to use it on and implement it into separate sections of the business to make it work. So whether that's and I can see, and it's not like everybody's all, this is taking people's jobs, or it's going to take people's jobs. And it's not really, I don't think it's going to take people's jobs. I think it's going to help people do their jobs. And it's a decision on whether you move with it or not, because it's really helping me do my job, and it's really helping other people in the office do, because like we know how it's going in terms of technology. You either go with it, or you take on the whole world to try and not go with it. And as a team of 10 people, 10, 11 people, we're not going to be able to take the whole world on and stop AI. You know, you just kind of have to go with it. So that's kind of what, so it's really hard to judge where we're going to be in five
Mm.
years. Because if AI is here now, then we're going to be, in 5 years' time, there could be something else that has completely came out that's that's different, you know?
Yes, it'll be interesting times ahead. And yeah, you're absolutely, it's a great share for anyone listening, to embrace AI,
Yeah.
and work out what it can do for you rather than, as you say, trying to stop the tide.
Yeah.
And look, if somebody likes what they've heard and wants to reach out and get in touch with you or the business, what's the best way for them to go about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get in touch with me, or if you want to talk about anything, my personal channel is Loney Dude, LONEYDUDE. If you just want to send a message, if you want the business to get something to do something, I mean, the best option is to go into the website, is bnlproductions.co.uk, and I mean, you can go on there and just check out all the kind of work and jobs that we are doing, uh, and I mean, even if you do, what's also handy as well, if you follow us on social media, we're constantly posting up the jobs that we're involved in. So Facebook, you can just type in BNL Productions, and I think on Instagram it's BNL Productions Ltd.
Superb. Well, look, Ryan Loney from BNL Productions, thanks very much for taking the time to chat with me this morning. It's been great to hear your journey, skateboarding, editing, the whole journey. So look, thanks very much. I wish you all the success for the rest of this year and the future as well. And happy 20th birthday. Thanks very much, Ryan.
All right, thanks.